What's up, my dudes? We gotta come in here and talk about this Haiden Deegan, overhyped, not overhyped. Is he gonna be a bust? Is he gonna be really good? Is the pressure getting to him too much? Is he gonna be able to live up to all of the expectations for him, right? That's what this video is all about right here. I wanted to make this right after we saw Haiden Deegan in his first ever, actually in a Supercross stadium kind of race. He just did his first Futures race at Anaheim 2. If you guys were watching that on Peacock, you probably saw it. But, yeah, so obviously Haiden Deegan did his first outdoor race last year. I think he raced like 2 of those. And in his first ever outdoor pro motocross race, you guys remember, he had the typical, rookie mistake with the absolutely wadding the bike up, front end over end, flipping over. He's lucky he didn't get hurt worse than he did. I don't even know if he got hurt on that crash, but nonetheless, dude completely weeded his shit on that first pro motocross race that he's ever done, okay? Then he gets here to his first Futures Supercross race, and he was even expected to potentially race the East Coast, like East Coast Supercross. What is that, like just in 1 week from now, I'm pretty sure? It's coming up really soon. So this was sort of like a, okay, this is going to tell us if Haiden Deegan is ready to race East Coast Pro Supercross, depending on how good he does in this future Supercross race. And it just didn't turn out like I think a lot of people thought it would. This is what I try to tell you boys right here, okay? If you didn't watch the race, Haiden Deegan goes out there, he ends up crashing in his future Supercross race. He ends up getting 5th. This is not really what anybody expected for Haiden Deegan to do in this race. It's just not at all. And actually his teammate, Daxton, right? He goes out there, he wins the race. He has more of the what everybody was expecting Haiden Deegan to do in the race. Actually, his teammate, Dax, ends up doing it. Okay, so Daxton actually hit me up on Instagram a little while back wanting to play some MX Sim. I just haven't gotten around to doing it, but I promise you, bro, I will play some MX Sim with you at some point down the road. I promise you, okay? So that was kind of crazy. So we kind of have this situation of like the more hyped up dude doesn't really get the results when the lights go on at night and the actual race in the crowd on TV. You got the whole crowd looking at you. This isn't just running practice laps anymore. This isn't just winning Loretta Lynn's anymore. This is finally like you're under the lights, maximum pressure. Can you do it? And I just feel like all of that caught up to Haiden Deegan. The pressure was just too much. The expectations was just too much. And that's just what comes with the territory whenever you are Brian Deegan's son, okay? And you're a part of this big social media. They got a bunch of those different YouTube channels. The Deegan's YouTube channel's really big. Haiden Deegan is by far the biggest, social media influencer when it comes to all these different amateur riders. And, I see a lot of people talking about, well, Haiden Deegan gets too much hate, or I don't know why everybody's hating on Haiden Deegan and all that kind of stuff, but it's like, it's just kind of part of the territory whenever you have that much exposure and you have the dad that you have and you have the family that you have, the sisters in NASCAR. It's just the whole, it's not even Haiden Deegan himself. You know what I mean? He's not out there being like, I'm going to be the next best thing. It's not really Haiden Deegan doing it. It's just everything else around him, you know? And I feel like that really puts that expectation to another level. Nobody would have thought Deegan would have got 5th place in the race. I mean, there wasn't nobody out there was thinking that. Everybody thought he was going to go out there and just clean house, you know? But this is a prime, perfect example of you can do all of it on the test tracks. You can look really fast in a video. You know, you can do all these other things. You can even do really good at Loretta's, you know, whatever else it is. But like, there is a certain element of in a full-blown Supercross stadium with all the people in attendance, you got all the fans looking at you, 60,000 plus fans in the stands looking at you, and the lights go on. It is just a different level of pressure. It's like almost a whole different skill set. It's like a whole different kind of thing, being able to handle that. You know, you can be the fastest guy in the world. You can have the most Loretta Lynn's titles in the world. You can do this, that, and another in amateurs. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to handle being under the lights with all the pressure, everybody watching you. You know, it's just a different kind of skill set. We need to wait until we actually see more from Haiden Deegan before we start acting like he's going to go out there and be the next Jet Lawrence. Okay? That's my whole point right there. I mean, I truly do believe Haiden Deegan is the most overhyped amateur that we've seen in a really long time. A really long time. And even with a guy like Adam Cianciarulo or Austin Fortner, them boys were hyped like crazy. And look at what has happened in their 250 Pro careers. Example A, B, C, D, Z, okay? So that's kind of my point. Just because it looks like Haiden Deegan's going really fast, he does good at Loretta's and all that, it does not mean he's just going to go out there and kick their ass right away, you know? And I don't know if Haiden Deegan's going to race East Coast Supercross this year, but that Futures race definitely didn't help his case. It definitely didn't, you know, prove that he was ready or anything like that. It almost proved that he wasn't ready. I would be leaning more to the side of that Futures race proved that Haiden Deegan wasn't ready. He can go out there and be the fastest qualifier. He can be real fast. All that other shit doesn't matter when it comes down to once that gate drops for that actual race under the lights with the fans in the stands, it's just a different animal. It's just a different deal. And, you know, I'm not saying Haiden Deegan can't go out there in 250E Supercross and he can get a top 5. You know, he could get some top 10s. But, like, I really do not think Haiden Deegan is on that level yet to go out there and get, like, a podium in a 250 East Supercross main event. I just don't think he's on that kind of racing level right now. He may have the speed, like I'm saying. He may look really good on the test track, but I just don't think he's quite there yet like some of you boys have it in your head. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean by he's overhyped right now. I still think he could do good, you know, over the next few years, you know, after he slowly works himself into it. Whether or not he's going to race 250 East or not, he just needs to get out there and stay on 2 wheels. That needs to be his #1 goal. But I just don't feel like that's going to happen. From what I've seen so far with his first pro motocross race, absolutely end over end crashing. And then his first supercross race, he crashes, you know, trying to pass a guy, and then he gets 5th. It's just like, I just think the pressure is getting to him. I think the expectation level's getting to him. I think the overhype level is getting to him. I think just everything about it, as soon as he gets off that test track, as soon as he gets off of Loretta Lynn's or Minios, and he actually gets to like a pro level kind of scene, I just don't know if he can handle it right now. And I'm not saying he's not going to be able to handle it eventually, but right now, I just don't think he's ready.